Hey, this is Dena, aka Cybercat. If you ever watched my show Pixels as Big as Cats, you know that I love Atari 2600 games. I know there were a lot of bad ones, but there were a lot of good ones too. And I played them a lot when I was a kid, and in fact, I still have all my Atari 2600 games, or at least I have most of them, I think. Sadly, I don't have a console to play them on anymore, but I do have the cartridges. I was telling somebody about this once, and he told me that it would be a crime if I didn't make a video where I showed off all of my Atari 2600 games. So here's the box I keep them in. There's probably other stuff in here too aside from games, but this is basically what it's for. It's for storing my Atari 2600 games. If you've seen the adventure episode I did for Still Gaming, you've probably seen a picture of this box before. This is where I keep them, pretty much always. It's falling apart. It's got to be held together with duct tape, but yeah, here's my Atari 2600, the box that my games are in, so you know where I'm getting them out of. I'm just going to grab them out randomly and just kind of show them to you, so random order, just whichever one I happen to get off the top. The first one in here is Joust, so you can see what it looks like there. That's Joust. It's in pretty good condition. Thing about Atari 2600 games is that this little... the nerd always complains about lack of end labels, and it's great that Atari 2600 has them, but they have a tendency to... well, this paper peels off, and eventually, I mean, if you just like catch the corner under your fingernail, the whole thing will just pop right off. So what I used to actually do was take a wide strip of plastic tape and I would just put it over the whole cartridge to make sure that all of this label and the end label stays on, and it'll just go all the way over. And a lot of my Atari 2600 cartridges have that. A lot of them also have the end label kind of torn. I don't know if you can see that very well, but kind of torn and chewed up and stuff. And anyway, that was Joust. This one is Shark Attack. Haven't played this in a long time. It's basically a maze game, as I recall, and you're this diver and you're trying to avoid the shark. Frogger! Yeah, Frogger. It's got a slightly different shaped cartridge than most. I'll just get this thing out of here. I have a couple of manuals still, believe it or not. This is Real Sports Boxing. This was really my brother's game. I've never really been into sports games myself, but my brother plays those almost exclusively, so I'm gonna come across a couple sports games in here that are his, probably. Dragster. It's a drag racing game made by Activision. Yeah. Nice thing about Activision, they always put a screenshot of the game as their cover. It's almost being too honest, really. But yeah, you can see what the game is. This is literally all you see in the game, just these two cars. Warlords. It's a classic. I should probably tell what companies are making these, but most of them are put out by Atari. Oh, Shark Attack was made by Apollo. I remember that company. I remember seeing that logo before. Joust, I believe, is just Atari. Oh, well, it says Williams. Well, of course, because they made the arcade version. Duh. Warlords, yeah, Atari. I guess if I don't say otherwise, then they're made by Atari. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Warlords actually doesn't need tape on the front. Neither does Space Invaders! This was one of the first games I ever got. Christmas morning when I was a little kid, I asked for... I don't even think I knew exactly what an Atari 2600 was. I asked for a TV set and an Atari video game, and that's what I got. I got an Atari 2600 with Space Invaders and Pac-Man. Back then I loved Pac-Man just because I didn't know any better. This is in pretty good shape, except that the end label is kinda... it's got some creases in it. But yeah, the labels are not coming off, oddly enough. Video pinball. There were a lot of games for Atari like this, where they really weren't... It was just... They were just very, very basic like this, and they would put the word video at the beginning of it to imply, so you wouldn't confuse it with regular pinball. This game was actually kind of fun, as I recall. It had a neat physics, I think. I seem to recall that the way the ball moved was pretty realistic for an Atari game, even if it did look like a little square. Missile Command, another classic. Tennis. Not a classic, but it was made by Activision. Again, you can tell by this. You can tell by the cover because Activision always put a screenshot of their games up there, which is nice. I'm not going to talk about the games themselves too much. Real sports volleyball. Technically, the sports games were over my brother's, but I played them too. I didn't mind them, I guess you could say. Lost Luggage by Apollo. Wow, this label is really... there's barely enough of the label left that you can read the name, but this is a game. It just says Masters of the Universe, but this is a He-Man game for the Atari 2600. Yeah. No images on it at all, just like half an end label. Label's pretty chewed up on this one, but Haunted House. It's a good one. To me, anyway. Yeah, pictures of the cabin. Nobody wants to see that. I don't know what this is, but it says Dell on it. I'm guessing it's not an Atari game. Yeah, there's some crap in here that isn't meant to be in here. Asteroids. Another classic. Label's kind of chewed up. End label's a little bit chewed up. The corner here is a little chewed up, but it's not bad. These things really withstand the test of time as far as, you know. Galaxian. Which is basically a ripoff of Galaga, I think. This is one of the last games I got. You can kind of tell because it's actually in really good shape. End labels hardly, I mean, the labels are almost immaculate. The end label's starting to pop off a little bit, but yeah, see, this is why I tape down my end labels. That happens. But, yeah. It's actually in quite nice shape. It's got some dings on it, but it's not, the label's not peeling off and it's not chewed up on the edges. Oh, I hope a spider doesn't jump out of this box and scare the crap out of me. This one I don't remember too well, but here it is anyway. Demons to Diamonds. Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. Not a bad game as Atari games go. And apparently it was made by Parker Brothers. I don't remember this one too well, but it's called Space Shuttle, and it was made by Activision. It's pretty messed up. The label's quite faded, especially on the corner here. And I've got a big wide strip of tape holding it down. Oh. Journey Escape. Yeah, it's a video game based on an album by a band. Yeah, it blows. Journey's awesome. This game is not. It's made by Data Age, apparently. Wow, great cover. Basketball, right? Yeah, basketball. I like how some of these on the top say game program. I don't know. I just think that's interesting. I don't know. It's not something you would see on a game today, you know? Sonic the Hedgehog game program. Yeah. Label's pretty chewed up. This one really needed to have the tape on it. It's the only thing keeping it down. I didn't even bother putting it over the end label because that's fine for now. Boxing by Activision. Label's pretty stained and pretty messed up looking. Real Sports Baseball. Even though I'm not into sports games, I recall kind of enjoying this one actually. I actually kind of like baseball games. Don't like sports, don't really like baseball that much, but I kind of like playing baseball video games, believe it or not. Not something I will do very often, but... Oh, it's a random Fushigi Yugi card. Whatever, that's not supposed to be in there. Wow, this cover's really messed up. It's actually warped and coming off and... Well... Disaster. Basically, you're this little girl and then you're, you know how in the circus or whatever people spin plates on sticks? You have to keep spinning the sticks so that the plates don't fall off. And once all the plates fall off and break, you lose. You know, very, very simple, classically simple, Atari 2600 game. What company made these? M Network? Oh, Mattel, I guess. I guess M Network is a branch of Mattel. But anyway, again, no cover images or anything, but just the end label, Astro Blast. Don't remember this one too well. I'm pretty sure I remember liking it, but I don't remember anything about it. Some of these I have not played in years. Oh, uber classic. Yar's Revenge. Freaking badass game. Actually made by the same guy who made E.T., believe it or not. Oh wow, this cover, this label is really jacked up, but believe it or not, this is Phoenix. It was a Space Invaders clone. It's actually pretty good. I quite liked it.